He puts as much energy in book promotions as Shah Rukh Khan does in promoting his films.
You should. It's a good thing to do. I think it's that's the only way to do it. I mean, I'm learning from Mr. Modi the art of marketing. You've got to go out there and reach out to people, and that's the way you do politics now. So why not book promotion, which I think is actually intrinsically far more valuable than even films and politics.
Give everyone a context politically for this budget, because you've got the Delhi elections happening just a couple of days from now. And I know that the finance minister and the government's very excited about some announcements which are going to be made in the budget which they think could impact Delhi.
That's right, Rahul. Look at what happened yesterday. Both the Prime Minister in his opening comments to the budget session of Parliament and importantly the President mentioned the middle class time and again. In fact, the President mentioned it 8 times. She didn't mention it once in July or June last year when she gave the President's speech. So clearly the middle class could be a focus. I'm not saying it'll be the sole focus. I think Mr. Modi has over the years shown that he knows that his real audience is the Garib Kisan, the GK. That's the audience he's going to target. But because, not so much because it's, I think, a Delhi election only, Rahul, but I think the general sense, and I'm sure people on this panel who track the economy more rigorously than I would know that this is a budget where the middle class expectations will be perhaps a little higher than in normal times. You've got global headwinds. You've got an economy which is slowing down by all indications. And importantly, you've got a year with no major elections. I mean, that's the big difference between 24 and 25. Mr. Modi has that leeway, the elbow room. There are no excuses now. Actually, I would headline no excuses budget.
Abhi nahi to kabhi nahi.
You see, you have got away with, mentioning COVID, demonetization, the world was slowing for a while. You have no more excuses left. Even some of the global conflicts potentially in this year could come to an end, which is again good news. This is the opportunity. If this opportunity, we mentioned about Rahul Gandhi. In my book, I say Rahul Gandhi's never missed an opportunity to miss an opportunity. I think this is the same thing can be said about Nirmala Sitharaman and the Prime Minister when it comes to budget making. You have missed successive opportunities to miss opportunities. There are no excuses anymore. You've got to kickstart the economy, domestic consumption, private investment. All of this needs to get,
See that we were at Davos and one of the key themes there was that the next 5 years are India's golden period. This is where you capitalize on the opportunity. You've got a stable government. This year there are no major elections. And therefore, if this window is not touched upon to try and push through key reforms, there probably never will be another opportunity of this kind.
Absolutely. And I think the economic survey captured it beautifully with that few words that are now trending since yesterday, which is get out of the way. I think for the government...
That's quite dramatic for a CA to say. I mean, it's not Shankar Iyer saying it, it's the chief economic advisor sitting in government saying it.
For the bureaucracy to get out of the way and to ensure that smaller companies, forget large companies which are benefiting from GST, small and medium companies, dozens and dozens and dozens of regulations, compliances, rules, labor norms, they need to get out of the way. And attached to it, a new deal in terms of reforms. 1991 was a defining moment. A dream budget was a defining moment for India. Can 2025 be that opportunity where a vision is articulated for the next 5 years leading to Viksit Bharat? Otherwise, as the survey said, Rahul, 8% is required. How is that 8% going to happen when if you take the median of 6.5% in this year? It's a massive leapfrog, cannot happen without reforms.
I was reading the Chief Economic Advisor's survey report and I thought he was refreshingly honest and candid. And I think, if even 75% of what he says, 50% of what he says is actually translated into action in this budget, I think it's great news.
But can I point out something, Rajdeep? Last year he spoke of the need for India to review economic ties with China, and at that time, the relationship was very fraught. And I thought, ye to bol rahe hain, but look at the political and look at the military situation. And I think he was prescient in that sense. He made the point, and then ultimately there was a reworking of the equation with China, and that I think is important. So there are important signals there. That is Finance Minister Sitharaman on your screen with a Bahi Khata. Looks quite slick, not that big leather bag we used to see earlier. iPad stroke laptop inside with her new team, Tuhin Kanta Pandey there, and a brand new team because some of her key secretaries, Siddharth, moved over, one to the RBI, one to the cabinet, one as cabinet secretary.
Well, I think the budget makers, as we call them here at India Today, Business Today, very clearly are crucial people. But there is a systemic structure, institutional structure, which provides much of the numbers really are just updates. We remember the last such exercise was just 6 months ago. Therefore, beyond the budget numbers, the fiscal projections, tax collection, most of that is baked in. What is really important to watch out for is the policy indication that we will get and the intent that the government announces of what it will do in terms of reforms over the next 4 years. I think that's the crucial thing to reverse this bit of pessimism that India is going to grow at the slowest pace in the past 4 years. That is the critical point to address.
No, there are 2 points to this. Not just are you growing at a slow pace, you're not expecting next year to be much better.
Obviously, so, and what is happening externally, if you see the Trump tariff wagon rolling around and wreaking havoc all across the world, we cannot escape that because exports are the way to ensure that capital comes to India and therefore our economy performs.